Hello, everyone, and welcome to this powerful full moon. Tomorrow, May 5th at 10:34 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we celebrate the most powerful full moon of the year. The ancient wisdom teachings tell us that at this full moon, the Christ and the Buddha meet in the Wesak Valley in Tibet. And together they blend their energies, the wisdom of the Buddha and the love of the Christ. These energies are then distributed to all of humanity at the Gemini full moon. So this is a moment of great potency. We become recipients of a powerful downpouring of spiritual energy. And tonight in our meditation or visualization, we will travel to the Wesak Valley to participate in this sacred ceremony. Just a few minutes before the full moon moment tomorrow, we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is sometimes called the detective of the zodiac because she likes to dig down deep and uncover what is hidden. So this eclipse is asking us to do just that, to dig down into our unconscious and dredge up whatever is in need of healing. And because it is an eclipse, it always portends an ending of some kind. A cycle is ending for sure as we move into a new sign from Pisces to Aquarius. But we might want to consider what in our life is ending. What has completed its purpose in your life and is telling you it's time to move on? What can you shed this month? What can you let go of? These are great questions to ponder this month as we work with these powerful energies. There are many other powerful alignments this month, but even though they are each very different, they all agree that this is a month to question our old beliefs, to deal with what is operating in our unconscious, and follow our hearts. Stephanie Austin, one of the astrologers that I follow, says, quote, "These alignments remind us that we can only go as high as we are willing to go deep. That the more we face our shadow and heal old wounds, the more peace, creativity, and joy we are able to have in our lives." And then she quotes David Pond, who sums it up beautifully. He says, "Feel it, bless it, release it." So that's a good thing those are good words to remember. Feel it, bless it, and then release it. Now let's talk a bit about Taurus. The sun entered the sign of Taurus on April 20th. Whenever the sun moves into a new sign, there's a shift of energy. So now we have moved from the fiery, dynamic sign of Aries into the solid, grounded earth sign of Taurus. Taurus's opposite sign is Scorpio, the sign of desire and aspiration. We are told that the Buddha was born and died and reached enlightenment in the sign of Taurus. He anchored on the earth the energy of illumination, light, and wisdom. Taurus is called the mother of illumination. And the mantra for Taurus is, "I see, and when the eye is opened, all is illumined." This is referring to the eye of the bull, which is the symbol for Taurus. The eye is the third eye, located at the ajna center between the eyebrows. And when that eye is opened, we are able to see with our spiritual vision. We see beyond the personality to the soul that is within each of us. What would it be like to go through our days with this ability to see the divine in everyone we meet? Tonight, we will be invoking this illumination, this wisdom from the Buddha. And the world desperately needs this light of illumination and wisdom right now. And tonight, we are blessed to be able to receive this illuminating light. But we also need to remember that we are transmitters as well. We take the light into ourselves, and consciously and with intention, we radiate that light out into our world. This is our act of service to humanity. But to be an effective light in the world, we must be vigilant about controlling our emotional and mental bodies, our thoughts, and our reactiveness. We must not allow ourselves to be sucked into the vortex of fear or anger, hatred, and frustration that's everywhere in our environment right now. We can call on the soul to illumine our minds and emotions. Rather than talk more about Taurus and this festival right now, I would like to share a few quotes with you that might help alleviate some of the fears that are so present in our world today. Try to listen to these quotes in a relaxed, open frame of mind, maybe even with your eyes closed, just allowing the words to flow into you, not focusing or struggling to understand, just trusting that the words will wash over you and you will take in whatever makes sense to you. So this first quote is from David Spangler, a spiritual teacher from our area. And he quotes one of his, what he calls inner colleagues. These are the beings that he connects with on the inner planes. This particular being is called Muriel. Quote, "Do you fear the collapse of your civilization as it proves inadequate to the changes happening in the world? Far better to fear the collapse of hope. Far better to fear the collapse of joy. Far better to be alarmed at the collapse of imagination and creativity, for these are the qualities that you need to change your direction in the world. The loss of your coastlines to a rising sea is nothing compared to the loss of your capacity to love and to find wholeness within yourself and within your world. Humans are not facing challenges of ecology. You are facing challenges of psychology. Your inner climate is racked with storms of fear and anger, hatred and revenge. This is where change must happen. It is how you think of yourselves that must transform. What can you do to change your inner climate?" End quote. So what can we do? How can we keep joy alive in us, hope alive, imagination and creativity alive? One way, I think, is by holding a vision of what's possible. A new civilization is emerging. We are birthing a new age. How can we traverse this burning ground and manage these birth pangs? I would invite you to lift up your gaze and hold your mind steady in the light. Use your creative imagination to envision this new Aquarian age that is emerging. Then lean into that. When feeling hopeless or despairing, let that be foremost in your consciousness. Remember what you are birthing. Remember to look around and see the beauty that is here There is never just one thing that is happening. Taurus asks us to honor the beauty that is everywhere. Can we turn our gaze there and remember the larger picture, that the earth is evolving? Humanity is moving forward despite all appearances, and the great ones are there to support us. Here are some of their words. Quote, "It would bring such hope and release from the great insecurities of our time to really know there is a plan of love and light guiding humanity, a destiny that we all share. An open mind and awakened heart is necessary to be able to sense the presence of the spiritual hierarchy in human affairs. But the work of the many inspired servers of humanity is testament to the fact that an inner government is guiding humanity forward. These great lives have to be invoked by humanity for divine law to manifest. There are silent workers which must remain behind the scenes until the mass invocation of humanity strikes a powerful note. It may be difficult for some of us to believe in a plan of love and light that's guiding humanity. If you're like me, you have a doubting Thomas part that emerges. And when that does emerge, I try to say to myself, I choose to believe. So I choose to believe that we are not alone in this struggle. And I choose to believe the spiritual law of invocation and evocation that tells us that whatever we invoke in the name of love will evoke a response from the great ones. There is so much power when our group gathers at the full moon period. Spiritual realms are particularly close to the earth at these times, so our invocative appeal can have a great impact. So tonight we invoke the aid of the great ones and ask them to pour down their illuminating light upon humanity, to pour down the spirit of love that can manifest as brotherhood and sisterhood, and the will to good that can establish right relationships with all life. I'd like to end with this quote, again from the great ones, the masters of wisdom, called the hierarchy. Quote, "I would therefore ask you to steel your souls to endurance, knowing that the hierarchy stands. I would ask you to love blindly and unchangingly, in spite of all that may happen, knowing that love stands unmoved amid the wreckage of all around and eternally loves. I would ask you to put your hand into that of the master and move forward with him, her, and in the strength of your group, irradiated by the life and light of the hierarchy. I would ask you to be a strong hand in the dark to your fellow men, because you are affiliated with the hierarchy, and the love and strength of the hierarchy can flow through you if you so permit. I would remind you in this time of trial that I, your master, love and guard you, for your soul and my soul are one. Be not unduly disturbed. There is no light or dark to the soul, but only existence and love. Rest back on that. There is no separation, but only identification with the heart of all love. The more you love, the more love can reach out through you to others. The chains of love unite the world of men and the world of forms, and they constitute the great chain of hierarchy. The spiritual effort you are asked to make is that of developing yourself into a vibrant and powerful center of that fundamental universal love. So a good mantra to hold in our consciousness this month might be, I am welcoming in an expanded consciousness of love. I am welcoming in an expanded consciousness of love. Let us prepare now for our visualization, which will take us to the Wesak Valley, deep in the Himalayan mountains, to witness and participate in this beautiful ceremony between the Buddha and the Christ. Please have your cup of water nearby and your candle. Let us take just a moment now to seat yourself comfortably, sitting quietly and breathing gently and rhythmically. Now breathe a silent Om into your physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Notice how it feels to have these three bodies quiet, still, quiescent, and aligned. The spiritual realms are very close to us on this powerful day. Let those great beings know that you are sending up an invocative appeal for them to pour down these energies upon the earth. In your mind's eye, imagine, sense, or feel a portal, a doorway opening to the spiritual realms. And see these energies pouring through that portal into your body, through the crown chakra. You are literally breathing into your body the Taurian energies of illumination and aspiration. Ask that the light of Taurus and the wisdom of the Buddha illuminate your being. And now imagine that these same forces of illumined energy are streaming forth through pathways of light into all the hearts and minds of humanity, infusing them with the goodwill needed to create loving and harmonious human relationships and a climate for positive social change. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in our hearts, through our groups, and throughout the world. Now breathing that light back into your body, let us travel as illumined beings to the Wesak Valley. We are going to travel far away to the Himalayan mountains on the border of Tibet. In the middle of this mountain range, there is a sacred valley where pilgrims from all over the world are gathering to celebrate this special Wesak festival. Some of them are here in their bodies, and some of them are here in their dream state. They are setting up colorful tents all over the floor of the valley. See if you can imagine, sense, or feel yourself there in this sacred valley, surrounded by disciples and pilgrims, all waiting in anticipation for the Buddha and the Christ. This valley is shaped like a bottle that is wider at the south end and narrowing at the northeast end. It is, in fact, the entrance into this sacred valley. As you look around, notice the ground is covered with short, coarse grass, and the sides of the mountains are covered with trees. The air smells fresh and sweet. There's a feeling of expectancy in the air as the pilgrims begin to gather. At the northeast end of the valley, where the passageway begins to narrow, there is a massive stone altar. And placed on top of the altar is a great crystal bowl filled with water. Just before the full moon, the Christ, the Lords, the Masters, the Archangels, and the illumined ones who guide planet Earth gather around this rock to pray. Take a moment to feel the excitement building as we all wait expectantly for the moment of great blessing. As the hour of the full moon approaches, a stillness settles down upon the crowd, and all look toward the northeast. And now begin to feel the expectancy in the crowd becoming very great. The moment is approaching, and the tension is real and increasing. Feel the potency of the vibration moving through the entire body of people gathered here. Feel it as it moves through you. This vibration has the effect of awakening and quickening the soul of all who are present, fusing and blending the group into one united whole, and lifting all into a great act of spiritual demand, readiness, and expectancy. It is the climax of the world's aspiration focused in this waiting group. These three words, demand, readiness, and expectancy, best describe the atmosphere surrounding those present in this secret valley. A few moments before the full moon, in the far distance, a tiny speck can be seen in the sky. It comes nearer and grows in clarity and definiteness of outline until the form of the Buddha can be seen, seated in the cross-legged Buddha form. Clad in his saffron-colored robe, bathed in light and color, and with his hand extended in blessing. When he arrives at a point exactly over the great rock, he extends his hand in blessing toward the Christ, who, representing humanity, receives it for distribution. Then the great invocation is pronounced, sending a strong current of gratitude from humanity to God. As Buddha sends his blessing of illumination, and Christ sends his blessing of love, the atomic and molecular structure of the water on the altar is altered, receiving an infusion of wisdom. Imagine now the entire valley filling with the light of the Buddha's blessing. Imagine the room where you are sitting now, filled with that same light, radiating into every corner of this space, filling it with this powerful light. Imagine it filling you with that same light, touching each cell in your body, filling you with radiance. The power of this group and its invocative appeal sets up a great vibration that is of such great potency that it reaches up to God. This blessing then comes forth as a spiritual vitalization of humanity, and the effect lasts throughout the year. The blessing is poured forth, and the Christ, as the representative of humanity, receives it in trust for distribution. So the legend runs. The Buddha returns once a year to bless the world, transmitting through the Christ renewed spiritual life. Slowly then the Buddha recedes into the distance until again only a faint speck can be seen in the sky, and this eventually disappears. The whole ceremonial blessing, from the time of the first appearance in the distance until the moment the Buddha fades out of view, takes just 8 minutes. The Buddha's annual sacrifice for humanity, for he comes back only at a great cost, is over, and he returns again to that high place where he works and waits. Year after year, he comes back in blessing. Year after year, he and his great brother, the Christ, work in the closest cooperation for the spiritual benefit of humanity. Through the Buddha, the wisdom of God is poured forth. Through the Christ, the love of God is manifested to humanity. And it is this wisdom and this love which pour forth upon humankind at each Wesak full moon. The Wesak festival is a powerful time of intense spiritual service done by humanity to God and from God to humanity through the Buddha and the Christ. During the 8 minutes of this celebration, the entire universe makes a connection, uniting humanity with the source of all creation, which we call God. The spiritual effects last until the next Wesak festival. When the Buddha has disappeared, the crowd rises to their feet. The water in the bowl is distributed in tiny portions to the masters, initiates, and disciples, and then they go on their way to their place of service. The crowd, who have all brought their little cups and vessels of water, drink from them and share with others. In your mind's eye, imagine yourself walking up to that great stone altar and dipping your cup into the sacred water. Sip it slowly and allow its potency to fill your body. In this beautiful water ceremony of communion, we have preserved for us in symbol an indication of the new age, which is today upon us, the Aquarian age. In this ceremony, there is perpetuated for us the story of the universality of God's love, the need for our individual purification, and the opportunity to share with each other that which belongs to all. The water, which has been magnetized by the presence of the Buddha and the Christ, carries certain properties and virtues of a healing and helpful nature. Thus blessed, the crowd silently disperses. The masters and the disciples return with renewed strength to undertake another year of world service. So runs the ancient legend. Sit for a moment now and allow yourselves to be open and receptive to these potent energies coming from the Buddha and the Christ. Be as a chalice, ready to receive, ready to ground these energies into the earth. Be still. Now, take a deep breath and allow your awareness to return to the physical world. Know that you now carry the influence of the festival of Wesak within you to be used for the unfolding of your spiritual nature. Feel joy in your heart and give thanks. Now I'll ask you to take your candles and light them. and hold them up for all to see. Imagining that the light from these candles is coalescing into a huge magnetic vortex of energy, going up to the great ones in an invocative appeal for them to pour down upon us the blessings of Wesak. So these candles honor this particular special full moon. Now, seated in your own space, I will ask you to raise up your cup of water that has been blessed by the Buddha and the Christ, and repeat these words. With love, I accept the blessings of the Buddha. This force blends with the love of the Christ to aid in the stimulation of the Christ within me. Take just a few sips, please. This water is a symbol of spiritual essence, and it channels love, awakens our nature, and bears wisdom. Now raise your cup a second time and think of an area in your life that is in need of healing. The water now is very potent. It has the healing energy of the Buddha and the Christ. As you take this second sip, ask that it be used for your own healing. And with this last sip, ask that the energy from this water be used for the healing of humanity, of our earth, of every kingdom in nature, animal, vegetable, and mineral. You are now filled with light, love, and power. Now it is your responsibility to safeguard these energies from any misuse. So go forth with harmlessness as your intent. And we will close with the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May the Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Om. 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 Thank you, dear friends. I want to remind you that tomorrow is the day of contact. As we mentioned, the exact moment of the full moon is at 10:34 a.m. tomorrow morning. So a wonderful time to be in meditation if you can at all do that. It's also called the day of safeguarding because we are filled now with these powerful sacred energies, and we have to be mindful that we do not misuse them or waste them. So again, go forth with harmlessness as your intention. And thank you for your participation tonight. Blessings to you.